If you're serious about growing on TikTok in 2024, I want you to grab a pen and a paper because I'm going to talk about the 9 layers in this iceberg theory on how to grow on TikTok in 2024. But don't skip any of these steps because all of these 9 steps are extremely important for growth. Now, before I start to break down the first layer of the iceberg, I want to let you guys know that I have a free community down in the description. I want to help 10,000 people in that free community to grow on TikTok. So if you want to go ahead and join that journey with us, go ahead and check the description below. Now, each layer has 3 factors, and as I continue to go down the layers, it's going to get more and more advanced. And the last one is going to blow your mind. Now, the first one is you need to stop getting ineligible for the For You feed. A lot of people are getting an ineligible for the For You feed warning on some of their videos. This is causing their videos to get 0 views, 1 view, 10 views, and it's not hitting the For You page. This means several things. First, you could be using content that you can't use. It could be copyrighted. It could be somebody else's content. You can't do that on TikTok any longer. Now, I know there are some people that are in the faceless automation niche, and some people can get away with it if you flip the video horizontally or if you add some overlays, if you speed up the audio a little bit. There's ways to get around it, but most times you'll eventually get caught and you'll probably get kicked out of the beta creativity program. I've seen it time and time again, so you're better off just trying to make some original content instead of trying to clip others. Now, a few other things that you have to know as well about this first part is that you have to disclose if the video is majority AI. If you created the video with AI, if the audio is AI, you have to disclose that to TikTok. It's not going to hurt your account much. They just have to make sure that you disclose it on each video, because if you don't and they figure out that it is AI, you will not only get ineligible for the For You page, but several other videos on your account will get flagged, which could cause you to lose your beta creativity program spot. It could cause your account to get suspended and more. And the final thing that most people don't realize is that once you post to TikTok, that video is no longer original content to anybody, even to you. When that video hits TikTok, it gets an invisible watermark. There is metadata inside of that video. If you try to download it again and put it somewhere else, that video is now original on TikTok. And so if you maybe make an accident and you go ahead and delete it and try to repost it, you'll get ineligible for the For You feed because that video already hit TikTok as an original video. So you guys have to understand this before we get to the other 8 layers. You have to be good with your hooks in the first 5 seconds of your video. Now, a hook is something that will get somebody to stop the scroll. A lot of people use verbal hooks and they try to engage people by the way that they start their video. But there are other ways to hook people as well, not just the thing that you say. Another way to hook people is something called a visual hook. And a visual hook is something that happens within that first second that catches people's eye or makes people want to watch even more of the video. Its job is to pique some sort of curiosity, pique some sort of excitement, some thrill, and get you to watch more than 1 second of the video. Now, besides the visual hook, there's also a text hook. And a lot of times you can just type the text right above your video in TikTok, and that can serve as your hook because people can read that text hook way faster than 1, you can say it, but 2, that they can process it when you're saying it. So a lot of times, a great hack for you guys to use is to actually write out your hook as the title and just start your video right away without saying that hook. Instead of saying, these are the 3 things that you need to know about TikTok growth, you could just start your video with the first one. So it would be 3 ways to grow on TikTok would be the title, and you would just start off saying, the first way to grow on TikTok is blank, right? And so you give the audience a chance to interpret what's going on with the title, but then you could also just start to get to the content and it'll connect with them much quicker. And you getting to the point much quicker will help other people take a chance on your content, because that's what you ultimately need, is somebody to take a chance on your content. Without focusing on that first 3 to 5 seconds and doing it well, you'll never grow on TikTok. Now, the final part of this first layer, getting to that second layer, is the search engine optimization categorizations. I've been talking ad nauseam on this channel about the importance of TikTok categorizations. If you don't know what a TikTok categorization is, it's the term that's in the search bar above your videos when you check them out on your profile. And those categorizations are specific to TikTok. That's TikTok identifying what your video is about. And if somebody were to search that topic, your video would come up for that or similar topics to the one that you're categorized for. Now, the reason that this is important is because TikTok wants to be a search engine, just like YouTube, just like Google. They want people to use TikTok to search to get answers with videos so that they can show people products and feedback and reviews and just learn things on TikTok, just like you would on YouTube or on Google. And I just broke down this concept in depth on my channel, but basically TikTok categorizations are a trust metric with TikTok. The best accounts get categorized all of the time, and the most authoritative accounts keep those categorizations for a long time. If you guys want to go ahead and check that video on my account, I'll tag it up above. Now, this is where we get out of the basics and get into some more strategy in layer 2. Now, the first factor in this layer 2 is understanding your total addressable market. What's your total addressable market? Total addressable market is the max amount of people that you're going to be shown to on TikTok. So understanding how big or how small different niches are. For example, somebody who is really focused on comedy is going to have a really wide audience. It's going to have a really wide market. And so there's a lot of different things that you can do inside of comedy. And the biggest account on TikTok, Kabi LeMay, used this style of humor, comedy, to grow the biggest following on TikTok, simply because it's one of the most universal ideas, topics, niches that you can actually do. Now, in the same breath, most of you guys are not just going to be comedy niches. You're going to have some sort of niche. My niche, for example, is TikTok growth. So I understand that the biggest audience I'm going to have, the most general part of my niche would be social media growth, digital marketing. That's going to be the widest audience in which my niche fits inside of. Another example would be if you are doing something like bodybuilding, fitness is going to be the widest niche that you fit inside of. And understanding this is really important for your growth, because you need to understand where you can tap into an audience that enjoys what you're talking about, your niche that you're talking about, and finding clever ways to reach that large audience and pull them into your smaller niche, because you understand that they could be interested in what you're talking about. You just have to get them into your realm, into your space, into your niche. Now, the other thing to understand in this layer is that the ceiling for followers is way lower now in 2024 than it ever has been before. TikTok is split up into so many interests and topics now that most people no longer see Charli D'Amelio, Kabi LeMay, Addison Rae, and a lot of those big TikTokers from before that have hundreds of millions of followers. And the reason is because the app has matured and we all have different interests now. And we're not all seeing the same thing like we used to with trending sounds and trending dances. So understanding the widest audience you can reach while still talking about your niche is important, because it's going to help you maximize your growth. Now, for people that don't want to maximize their growth necessarily, but want to maximize their depth, that you stay talking about the niche that you talk about. That's what I do. So in TikTok growth, I don't want to talk about general social media growth or shorts or reels. And so for me, a lot of people that follow me here on YouTube, on TikTok, there's going to be a lot of depth there because I'm going deep into one singular subject. Now, if you go ahead and reach a wider audience, it's very likely that you won't build as deep of a connection with them because you're going so wide and talking about topics that are more general to more people. So you have to be able to balance that out for yourself. How big do you want to grow in comparison to how deep of an audience do you want to have at the end? Now, getting into the second thing in layer 2 for TikTok growth, it's understanding the things that make TikTok profitable. The reason that this is important is because that's what they're going to push on the platform. If you understand where the money comes from, if you understand how TikTok becomes profitable and the things that have to happen for TikTok to continue to grow, then you'll understand what TikTok wants out of you. So for example, when you use TikTok Shop or you're a TikTok Shop affiliate, TikTok gets a piece every single time that you get somebody to buy something on Shop. And TikTok is more apt to push videos with a shop or a video affiliate link because they're going to make money every time somebody purchases. And so we saw this at the end of 2023 where shop videos were going absolutely crazy, and it was because they wanted to make profit in Q4 to compete with Amazon at the holiday time, the Christmas time in the shopping space. So if it's profitable for TikTok, a lot of times they're going to push it. The same thing goes with something like a series. If you haven't seen being able to create a series, it's basically like a mini course or a small digital product that you can link on each one of your videos. Now you have to have a certain amount of followers, 10,000 followers to be able to do this. And it's also under construction right now. So the new version of that is coming soon. But a series is another way for not only you to profit as a creator, but they get their split from it as well. Now, a few other things. Now, one of the reasons they're pushing TikTok Live, we'll talk a little bit more about that in layer 3. But one of the reasons they're pushing live right now is because TikTok gets a cut of each gift that somebody gives on a live. And so this is another way for TikTok to become more profitable while also being able to let you as a creator sell shop products on your live, be able to connect authentically with your audience. And there's a lot of good things that happen for TikTok and the creator when people go live. And it's one of the reasons lives have spiked like crazy in the last 12 months. And there are a few other things as well. So longer videos. If you're making videos that are longer than 1 minute, TikTok can place more ads on the platform. Same with pushing the horizontal videos. If you haven't seen that yet, TikTok wants to make horizontal videos a thing on TikTok. The reason that they're doing that is because it's going to be more profitable for them to be able to have mid-roll ads and pre-roll ads, just like here on YouTube, and they'll be able to understand who to pay, which creators are keeping people on the platform, and they'll reward them just like long form YouTube. They're also pushing photo carousel videos, and these photo carousel videos are a lot like Instagram carousel, where you can go ahead and swipe through photos. They have the photo carousel feature on TikTok as well as the story feature on TikTok to compete with the likes of Instagram. And so when you use any of TikTok's features that make them profitable, or you use the TikTok features, especially ones that help them rival with other platforms, more times than not, they're going to start to push your content more than the average accounts that are not taking this into account. We get to the final factor of layer 2, which is building a community instead of a following. Now, before, it was a lot easier to just ignore comments, to do short videos, to do trendy videos, hashtag FYP, use a trending sound, and you'd go viral a lot of times. But now TikTok wants you to actually communicate with your community. They want you to answer comments. They want you to be able to engage in stories, in live, and be more authentic in the way that you build a community instead of just a following. And a lot of people don't realize that TikTok not only watches you as a creator, but they also watch you as a user as well, because TikTok has its own built-in flywheel. So think about when you started your account on TikTok. Probably went to the For You page, scrolled through, watched videos, liked, interacted, and did those things, and you weren't a creator yet. But once you became comfortable with the platform, how everything works, eventually you see some trends on TikTok, and then you go ahead and you become a creator and post yourself. And then you go back to the For You page and you look at some things, some trends, what's going on, and then you go ahead and post. And so they have this flywheel of being a user, seeing what's trending, seeing what's going on with TikTok, and then posting and doing that over and over again. If you're a greedy creator and are only trying to use TikTok specifically only for your benefit, why would they want to push you in the first place? You're breaking that flywheel. If everybody felt like that, then everybody would be creators and nobody would be watching. And so TikTok watches every activity that you do, regardless if you're a user or a creator. Think about it. Have you ever realized that when you log onto a desktop and then you log onto your phone and then you try to log on to a different phone, there are these security checks because they're looking at recent activity from your account from different places. So if they see where you're logged in right now, and then all of a sudden in 10 minutes later, they see you logged in Spain, they're going to be like, what in the world is going on here, right? So they check that recent activity, but it's the same for other things that you do as well on TikTok. Are you commenting back? Are you interacting? Are you using 30 hashtags? Are you posting 30 times in a row? Now, for example, the way that they identify what accounts are bots is based on a user's activity. Does an activity that's repeated over and over and over and over again seem human-like? No. And that's where their AI can identify what a bot is doing. So if a creator, for example, doesn't warm up their account when they started, as soon as they start, the minute that they get their account up and running, they post 7-8 times. That is a very bot-like activity. That's not how a normal human who's just starting TikTok would use their account. And so all of these activities that you do, you have to understand are monitored by TikTok. And it's not a human monitoring humans, it's a machine monitoring humans. So if you're following and unfollowing and posting 8 times a day and posting 30 hashtags and doing all these things similar to what they would think bots would do, that's when you get yourself in trouble. That's when your account starts to lose its trust, and that's when your account becomes stuck in the 200 view jail or less. Now let's get to the advanced stuff, the good stuff, layer 3. The first thing I want to talk about is quality matters so much more than quantity on this algorithm. And so if you're posting 3 to 5 times a day, you're hurting your account. And I know you've heard it from a lot of other people to post 3, 5, 6 times a day, but this is the reason you're hurting your account right now. If you've ever noticed, if you tried to post 2, 3, 4, 5 videos in a row, after you start posting so many videos in a row, some of those videos get 0 views, 1 views, 10 views. You're not giving TikTok a chance to breathe with your account, because your account only has so much authority, especially if you're a brand new account or you're not very big yet. You don't get as much leeway as the big accounts do. The big accounts can get away with posting 3 to 5 times a day if they want, because they already have the authority, and TikTok gives them a higher baseline amount of views to work with. And so if their baseline amount of views is say 50,000, when they post 3 videos back to back to back, they might start off with 10, 15, and 25K within the first day, because they have that authority with TikTok. As a new account, as an account that's not as established, you don't have that same luxury. And so what you have to do is post quality. And I would say that's 1 video per day, day in and day out. Now, the reason that you don't have to actually post 3 to 5 times a day anymore is because we don't need the supply on TikTok anymore. It used to be a supply and demand thing, and it used to be the way that the algorithm works. So if you were posting 5 to 10 times a day, TikTok was showing everybody the freshest content. Now they want to show TikTok the best content. And how I know this is because it happens to me all the time. I have a video that's a couple months old that got 122,000 views this week. And I know a lot of your experiences as well, where your old videos start to pick up and do really, really well. That means that there's more shelf life on TikTok, which means your videos last longer. And so now that TikTok's not showing the most recent content and they're showing the best content instead, even if you just post one video a day and TikTok doesn't have any more new content to show the creator, they're gonna show your best older videos to other creators that are interested in what you talk about. And so that's why I think it's important, if the algorithm is now working that way, to make sure that all of your content is high quality and has effort in it. Because even if your video doesn't do that well, viewers still see effort and they know effort when they see it. And so if you're continuing to put this effort in, they're like, okay, this is somebody that I would want to follow. This is quality content. The value proposition that they bring me, whether it's entertainment, education, or inspiration, the value proposition that they bring me is valuable to me, and they put in a lot of effort. Yes, I want to follow this person. That's how you get more trust with TikTok. That's how you gain more authority, is to be able to produce quality over and over again. And now this is going to lead me into the second factor in this final layer, which is bingeability. Just like we talked about with the quality, this also gives you the ability to become bingeable on this app, because if they like one video from you and they go ahead and get a second video from you and they like you, that's when they go ahead and check your account, start to binge your account, and watch more than one video from you in one sitting. That's a really powerful metric to TikTok. That means you're an authority. That means you're engaging. That means your content in your account is good for people like that. So they're going to go ahead and show that kind of content to more people that look like the person that's binging your account. And so if you want to be able to do this effectively, there's several ways that you can go ahead and do this. The first way is to create a series on TikTok. Not the series that we talked about with getting paid and making a small digital product. A series meaning a 3, 5, 10-part series on a topic that you want to talk about and really breaking it down deep. So for example, I've done this several times on my account. One of the ones I've done recently is SEO categorization. So first I talked about hashtags, then captions, then the caption, then text on screen, setting up your account, warming up your account. And so I made like an 8, 9, 10-part series on breaking all of those things down video by video. Because if one of those videos goes viral, most likely a lot of that traffic is going to watch the other videos. And so it's going to get not only them to watch more than one video from you, but it's going to siphon that traffic to more places on your account. That gives you a better chance to go viral, gives you a better chance to get returning viewers to your account. And that's a huge thing with bingeability. There's a stat on YouTube called average views per viewer. And if you have a high average views per viewer, which means more people are watching more than one video from you, that makes you valuable. And that's what people are doing on YouTube, which is essentially binging an account that they love. And one of the reasons that they do that is because a lot of times, because of the value proposition, they're either entertained, they're inspired, or they're educated, and they appreciate that value proposition from the creator. But one of the things that really good creators do is they create a single style of video and they address a single audience of video. Think about somebody like Mr. Beast. It feels like he's making videos about a bunch of random things, but he's pretty much doing challenges, right? They're all a form of challenges. But think about any other big creator that you can think of. A lot of times they have a single style and they're doing it towards a single audience. And so what this feels like is almost the next episode of a TV series. And that's what I want you to be able to think about when you're trying to create your account, being able to deliver it in a way that they like to a singular audience that would like what you're talking about, instead of a bunch of complete randomness where sometimes your quality is good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's iPhone, sometimes it's a really nice camera, sometimes the audio is good, sometimes the audio is bad, sometimes it's about cooking, sometimes it's about reality TV or religion or social media growth. And if you have a bunch of that randomness, people don't know what to expect from your account, and it doesn't give them any reason to binge your account because they don't know what to expect on what's coming next in terms of the value or in terms of the topic that you're going to talk about. So there's a disconnect there, and that's why a lot of people are not gaining followers in this era, because they used to be able to get away with posting whatever they want, posting a bunch of random stuff and getting followers. But now you have to have some sort of plan, some sort of system, and reverse engineer what your audience would like to see from you. Now this is layer 3, factor number 3, and I'm going to blow your mind with this. I call this the touch point theory. So I want you to think about how TikTok understands what to show you on the For You page. A lot of times they test videos and they test topics that you may or may not like. And if you interact with those topics, you're likely going to see another video again and again the more that you interact with it. And TikTok will eventually learn what you like, learn the topics and interests that you have. Now, what's happening a lot on TikTok right now is that a lot of people aren't following, but a lot of people are engaging with their watch time, with liking and commenting or sharing and doing those things consistently. So just because you don't follow somebody or somebody doesn't follow you doesn't mean they're not watching your content every single time that you post. That's a big difference between old TikTok and new TikTok, where a lot of times you were used to see your followers. Now you're seeing with what you're interacting with rather than actually seeing everything from the people that you just follow. Now, to give you an example of why I think this theory works, have you ever taken a long break from TikTok where you haven't posted or you haven't gone live, and before when you were posting you were getting good views, and before when you were live you'd get 50, 100, 200, 300 people in your lives, and then after that break you come back, you only get 500 views and you only get 10 people in your live? It's because you lost that momentum of touch points that you had with other people, because the more touch points that you get with your lives, the more momentum that you build and the more people that you're going to be shown to again and again and again for your lives. And that's how you build momentum with lives. But it's the same goes with your For You page as well. If you're getting people to watch over and over again and like your content over and over again, that's how you roll that snowball down the hill to be able to get a higher baseline amount of views and get TikTok to trust you more because of the metrics that you're showing and because people are watching you more and more. Just like we talked about before with voting with your watch time or voting with a like or a comment or those things, you want to do this to both people that are just starting to watch your videos and people that have been following you for weeks and months. And you can do this, for example, by posting stories. If people interact with your story, they're probably going to get served another video from you. If they interact with one of your videos, they're probably going to get served a second video from you, right? And you get more and more at bats, the more and more touch points that you make with viewers, new and old. But think about all of the ways that you can make touch points, even with live. I don't tell people to tap the screen on my live because I want to boost the algorithm and get shown to more people in my live. I want them to tap the screen on my live because that's them voting without them really knowing, right? They're voting on my live. And so when I go live again, they're probably going to see it. And if they're there for a long time, TikTok's probably going to serve up one of my next videos to them. And if it's quality and the value proposition's enough, and you do the other 8 things that we've talked about in this video, along with making these touch points, you're going to give yourself an amazing chance to stay in front of people over and over again. Think about the big accounts. This is exactly what they do every single time, right? They get tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people to see every single video because they take the time to watch every single video, like or comment or share, or to show up to their lives or to watch their stories. They get people to make touch points over and over and over again. So with this touch point strategy, you want to be able to not only create quality videos that people could binge, but also use the live feature to make touch points. Use your stories to make these touch points and give yourself a chance with one of your videos to not only go viral, but to get these new people to really like your content, to take a chance on you. Because if that happens, that's how you build that initial momentum. You need a base level of people watching, interacting with your content to be able to break out of that bottom layer and get to the 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 baseline views. And as you continue to do this over and over again, that's when you can get 10,000 baseline views and 100,000 baseline views and eventually 1,000,000 baseline views. But these touch points are not going to help you if your videos aren't quality enough. But this is how you ultimately build the momentum. Now, TikTok's actually telling us how to grow on TikTok. And if you guys want to go ahead and see the video where I explain all of that, check this video right here.